From this tutorial, we will start new training series for SolidWorks 2020. If you want to see more such type of videos, then please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon. Let's start. When you start SolidWorks, many of you may be seeing this welcome window. You can start working in part environment by clicking on this part button here, and if you don't have this welcome window, then you will have to click here on new button. It will show this window if you have selected advanced, and if you have selected this, then it will show this window. So in this window you can start part by clicking here and by clicking on OK, and if you have this advanced window, select this part and click on OK. So it will start part environment. Now in this tutorial, at first we will learn some basic sketch commands. To switch to sketch environment, click here on sketch and click here on this sketch button. As we are only going to create some 2D sketches, therefore you can select any plane. Suppose I will select this top plane. Now here I have selected this MMGS unit. By clicking on this, you can choose your desired unit. So they have provided MKS, CGS, IPS and MMGS. So I will be working with this MMGS units. So this MMGS have millimeter, gram and second. Click outside. First command we will learn line. Here is the line command. Keyboard shortcut is L. Click on line. Then you will have to specify first point. Always ensure that when starting a new sketch, always use this origin so that your sketch will be fully defined and properly constrained. Click first point here, take your cursor away. Now here in this yellow box, you can see that there is horizontal line. This yellow box with some symbol is called as relations. So it indicates horizontal relation. That means the line you are going to create will be horizontal. And here also you can see that angle indicated is 180 degree. Click. To stop line command, press escape. So here this horizontal line is created and this horizontal relation has been applied to it. To give dimension to this line, click here on Smart Dimension. Click on this line, take your cursor below and click. Specify length of line. Suppose I want line of 80 distance. Type there 80 and press enter. And to stop dimension command, press escape. So here this line of 80 distance is created. Click on line. Take your cursor to this endpoint. These two circle indicates it is catching endpoint. Click and take your cursor above. So here now it is showing yellow box with vertical line. That means your line is straight and is vertical. Click. Then by clicking points, you can create your shape as per your requirement. And as you take your cursor here, you can see that it is automatically tracking from the origin. Click there and click. Once your shape got close, line command automatically stopped there and it has filled with blue color. The meaning of this filling is that this shape is perfectly close and is suitable for 3D creation. And if you don't want to see this filling, then you can turn it off by clicking on the shaded sketch contours. So it will remove those filling, but I will recommend you to keep this filling because it will be very useful when creating 3D objects. To stop line command, press escape. Here also you can observe there are two colors for line object. One is in blue color and one is in black color. The object which are with black color for which location is defined with respect to this origin. And suppose if you want to convert this horizontal line into black color, you will have to define location of that line. The location of this line will be the length of this line. So click on Smart Dimension, click on this line, take your cursor on this side and click. Then specify length and press enter. So here you can see that this line is also converted to black color. Right now this sketch is underdefined. The meaning of underdefined is you still will have to give parameters and dimensions to completely define this sketch. Suppose we will also give length of this line 25, enter, then press escape. Then suppose I want this line collinear with this line. So to add relations, select this line, press Ctrl and select this line. So here list of relations has been shown. From here you can add this make collinear. So they will become collinear and this symbol of collinear is added, which shows that these two lines are collinear. Click outside and these two lines has become black because they are properly defined. And again Smart Dimension. Suppose I want to give length of this line as 25, enter. Then length of this line again as 25, enter. Click outside. Now if you see that complete sketch got black color and it has been said here that it is fully defined. Now if you try to give dimension, then it will be over defined. Suppose if I try to give length of this line and click here, it will give error that make dimension driven and your sketch got over defined because this dimension is not necessary, as we have already specified this total length and we have defined these two lengths. That means this length can be easily worked out, or there is no need to specify this length because this length is already included in this length. So this problem can be solved in two ways. You can make this dimension as a driven or you can leave this dimension as driving. If you need this dimension as a reference dimension, then you can make this dimension as a driven. Click on OK and click outside. So here this driven dimension is shown in gray color and all the other dimensions are shown in black color. The meaning of this driven dimension is that if I change any dimension in this line, this will get changed automatically. Suppose if I change this dimension, to change dimension you will have to double click on that dimension. So here dialog box will appear. Here you will have to specify change dimension. Suppose I want it 20, enter. So here you can see that it automatically got 35 and the black dimension remained as it is. So that is the meaning of driven dimension. So it will get changed automatically without giving any indication to you. Then press escape to stop dimension command. Then suppose I want to make this dimension as a driven dimension. For that, click on this dimension line of this dimension, right click, and here you will have to click on this driven and press escape. So here you can see that this dimension has become driven. And suppose I want to convert this dimension to driving dimension, again click on this line, right click and click on this driven, so that it will make this dimension driving. So if I now change this dimension to 20, enter. So here you can see that now this dimension got changed. So this is the concept of driven and driving dimension. I don't want this dimension, so just click and press delete button. So that dimension is removed. Again click on Smart Dimension. Again select this line, take your cursor above and click. And if you click on this, leave this dimension driving and click on OK, then your sketch will become overdefined. So once your sketch got overdefined, then you have two options. You can either delete one of the not required dimension or you can convert one dimension to driven dimension. Suppose I don't want this dimension, so select it and delete it. So here you can see that our sketch is fully defined. Then press escape. To remove these objects, press first mouse button and drag the mouse and release the mouse, and then press delete button on keyboard. Then if you want to create some reference center lines, for that click on this arrow near line and click on center line. Then suppose I want to create one center line from this point, click there and click here. Then to stop center line here, double click, so it will stop creating that center line further ahead, but your center line command will be still running. So I can create one more here, and again double click, I need one more here, then double click and escape. So here you can see that these two lines are black because they are attached to this origin, but this line is blue because we have not given any dimension. So to make it black, we will have to place one dimension. Click on Smart Dimension, select this line, take your cursor below. Suppose I want dimension of 100, enter. Press escape. So here this line also got black. Then to pan this drawing, you will have to press Ctrl, press middle mouse button and drag the mouse. To zoom it, rotate middle mouse button towards you, then it will zoom it, and if you rotate middle mouse button towards monitor, then it will zoom minus. Suppose I will zoom it, I will rotate middle mouse button towards me. Then suppose I want to create one circle here. For that, click here on circle, take your cursor on this origin, click center point here on origin, take your cursor away and click. Then I want to create circle on the intersection of these two center lines. So take your cursor there. Here it is showing intersection object snap. Click there and click. Press escape. For dimension, click on Smart Dimension. Select this circle, take your cursor outside and click. Specify diameter of 60, enter. We will just pan it below. Press Ctrl, press middle mouse button and drag the mouse. Then click on this circle, take your cursor outside and click. Specify diameter of 40, enter. Press escape. Then suppose I want to create one tangent line. So click on this line, take your cursor here and click. Take your cursor on this side. Once it shows the tangent symbol, click there and double click. So here tangent line has been created. And suppose if you want to create line away, you can also create it away. Press escape. To apply tangent object snap, select this circle, press Ctrl, select this line, and from here you can apply tangent relation. Click outside, select this circle, press Ctrl and click on this line. Again click on make tangent. So here this line got tangent properly. Then suppose if you want to remove these extra lines, you will have to use trim entities. Click on trim entities. Easiest method is trim to closest. In this method, it will remove the object on which you clicks. So here you can see that here is an extra line that also we can remove. To see complete object, you can directly click on this zoom to fit, or you can also press F. So here this has been trimmed properly. Then same way you can remove these internal objects also. Just click on it. So those objects will be removed. You can also use zoom to area to zoom a particular area. Click, then press first mouse button, drag the mouse and release the mouse. Press escape and click. Again zoom to fit. Now here you can see that still it is not shaded for 3D objects. So there is one more problem here. Again zoom to area. Press first mouse button, drag the mouse, release the mouse, press escape and click. Zoom to fit. So here it got properly filled. That means it is properly closed. This power trim is also useful tool. Suppose I want to remove these outside center lines. then click on this power trim. To use power trim, you will have to press first mouse button and drag the mouse. So whichever object is crossed by this gray line, those objects will be trimmed. So that is power trim. Then corner. For corner, we can create some objects. Suppose I will create some lines so that it will be easy to explain corner. Double click, click and escape. Then again trim entities, then corner. Then suppose I want to remove this portion. So in the case of corner, you will have to click on the objects you want to keep. So it will remove the objects ahead of that intersection point. Just click on the objects you want to keep. Suppose I want to keep object from this side. So click on this line. So in this way you can use corner. So it will trim it and it will also extend. Suppose if I click on this line and this line, so it will extend this line and it will create corner. So in this way you can use corner tool. Then trim away inside, press escape. I will create some more lines. Zoom there, pan it, escape. Then click on trim entities, trim away inside. For this, you will have to define boundary inside which you want to trim the object. Click on the object you want to trim. So it will automatically trim object from inside this boundary. And you can also use window selection. Press first mouse button and drag the mouse and release the mouse. It will automatically select those objects, and in this case it will remove internal objects. Press escape. Then for undo, you can click here on undo, and Ctrl plus Z is shortcut. So I will just undo it. Again trim entities. Next is trim away outside. Click. Then select objects outside which you want to trim. So I will select these two lines. I will use this window selection. Click first mouse button, drag the mouse and release the mouse. So here objects from both the sides has been removed with reference to these two lines. And we have already seen this trim to closest. Trim to closest can also be used for removing the objects. Zoom to fit. Then there are two more options. Keep trimmed entities as construction geometry. So even though you trim it, it will keep it as a reference line. Suppose I will just undo it. So I will have those objects. And I will click on trim entities. Then I will tick here, keep trim entities as construction geometry. And suppose I will trim this line. So here you can see that that line has been trimmed, but it has been kept as a reference geometry or construction geometry. So this geometry will be there for reference, but it will not be the part of your sketch for 3D creation. So in this way you can use these trim entities as construction geometry. Then there is ignore trimming of construction geometry. Now these are the construction geometries. If you tick here and suppose if I use this power trim, so when I will power trim, it will only trim the entities. It will not remove these construction objects. So even though you take your cursor over it, it will not remove it. So this is a very useful feature because number of times we want to remove actually main objects and we don't want to remove center lines or reference lines. Press escape. One more command we will see, that is mirror entities. We'll just pan it and we will create one entity here for mirror. Suppose I will create one sketch like this. Press escape. For mirror you will have to create center line also to define as a mirror center line. Click on center line and I will create one horizontal center line. Double click and one vertical center line. Press escape. I want to mirror this entity. Select this entity using window selection. Click on mirror entities. Click here on mirror about and select this center line and click on OK. So here this mirror has been created around this center line. Again mirror entities, select these lines. If you want, you can remove the original object and keep the mirror image. Suppose I want this object below on the opposite side and I want to remove from here. For that, remove this copy option, click here on mirror about and select this horizontal center line and click on OK. So here it has removed the original object and it has kept mirror entity. So in this way you can use mirror entities. Then sometimes if you rotate this object by mistake, you can go back to original view by clicking here on previous view. Zoom to fit. So that's all. In the next tutorial, we will solve some exercises based on this theory lecture. So thanks for watching. We will stop here.